Hello, my name is Maria Kliavkov, and I'm the founding director of Healthy Mourning Revolution, dedicated to revolutionizing the way we all think about grief and mourning, and dedicated to creating compassionate grief communities around the world. And recently I heard on a news report where they were talking about a gathering of people to honor the lives of young ones who were killed in a car accident. What the reporter said is they came together to collectively grieve. And I thought to myself, if we could just change the terminology so that it's accurate and say they came together to mourn their loss, then what we would begin to understand is that we've all been grieving, that everybody who has experienced the loss is grieving, because grief is the internal response to grief. So we don't come together to grieve, we're already grieving. We come together to mourn. We come together to share the stories of the lives of our loved ones. We come together to talk about them, to remember them. We come together to cry and to laugh. We come together to be with that sense of loss and to speak how we're feeling, what we're thinking. That's mourning. Mourning is the healing path of the grief journey. So let's just break that down a little bit. Mourning is the healing path of the grief journey. When we learn how to welcome the moments when our grief bubbles up to the surface, when we have conscious awareness of our grief, and we can convert that grief to mourning. We can say, I'm thinking about my loved one and I'm remembering the time when he shoveled the snow. I'm remembering the time when she cooked the meal and the smells, the smells, and I can actually smell them as I'm talking about it. That's converting grief to mourning. And that is how we release the grief. The grief journey was never meant to be something that we get stuck in or that we lock down. And because we have this idea that we need to bring closure to the relationship, people, very rightly so, say, I'm not letting go of this. I'm not saying goodbye to this person. And so they think that if I hang on to my grief, then I'll be hanging on to my loved one, without ever understanding that the grief journey is asking us to discover where the love is now, where the relationship is now. Death ended the life of our loved one, but it didn't end our relationship. And this notion of closure is beyond ridiculous. It's what would make us hang on to our grief. Instead, when we learn how to convert our grief to mourning, when we discover the tools that can make the grief journey a journey that is sacred and can make it a journey that is one of ease and grace, then maybe we don't need to fear the journey so much. Fear is part of what we may feel as we're going through our grief journey. Think of how wonderful it is if I could actually say to somebody else in my world, you know what, this fear came over me and I didn't know what to do with it. Can you imagine the release and the relief that comes if that fear is not something that's looping on the inside, but rather I have a safe space to speak about it, right? That's ease and grace in the grief journey. Compassionate grief communities are about creating communities where it's safe to speak what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling without having somebody tell me what I should be thinking or what I should be feeling. Instead, the person I'm sitting across from just smiles and nods and listens to me speak what I need to get out of my body. That's ease and grace in the grief journey. If you want to learn more, then I invite you to join us in the Healthy Mourning Revolution. I invite you to visit us at healthymourning.com, which is the website. If you're on Facebook, come and join us in the closed group, Healthy Mourning Revolution. That is a group for people who are grieving. It's meant to support everybody in their conversion of grief to mourning. If you want to learn more, we have pathways to that learning. It can start with as simple as the 5-day live launch, 1 hour a day. The way you think about grief will change, that I promise you. The way you understand the purpose of mourning will change, I promise you. And we live in what Dr. Wofelt refers to as the grief avoidant and mourning phobic society. What if we changed that around? What if we started to recognize the importance of mourning and what the tools of mourning are and how we can actively apply them to our grief journey? Wouldn't that make the journey so much simpler? If this video has been of help to you, if it has supported you in your grief journey, then I invite you to like and subscribe, click on the bell and whatever else you need to do to be notified of the next time we make a video. And please share this video, share it far and wide. We never know who in our life is grieving something. And I'll tell you right now, in the world today, we're all grieving something. We may not be grieving a human being. We may be grieving our beloved pets. We may be grieving the way life used to be before, fill in the blank, because we all have a before. For many people, it's COVID, but for others, there are other things. We're grieving the way things were before. So let's find healthy ways to bring healthy mourning to the grief journey so that we can live our best lives and we can be on purpose and we can honor our loved ones every day of our life. That's what we want to do. We want to live in joy, which requires that we learn how to walk the grief journey. Until next time, much love to you. Namaste.